Next, I want to introduce my brother. You may know him as Chief Golden Light Eagle, one of my cosmic brothers. He's one of the first guys I met when I did my activations back in 2010, way back in Serpent Mounds, Ohio. And I just want to say it's my absolute pleasure to introduce you to Chief Golden Light Eagle.
Was looking for a Navajo singer and we found one. All the way from Ireland. Everybody get up, we're gonna change some energy in here, move some energy. Any sun dancers out there? Come on up, sun dancers.
Oh
want to thank you, sun dancers, for your efforts. You sun dancers, they spend 4 days dancing, for the future and for their families, for good health, and, without food and water. So I want to thank you for your commitments and your dedications and your sincerity through this, your spiritual walk. Pidama. At this time, I've been watching everybody, just watching, feeling. As you know, we're all family, and we're all very sensitive to each other's energies. And I see people feeling each other out, watching, We got doctors here, lawyers here, ex-Catholics, and we got a conglomeration and a variety of energy that needs to be equalized. So we're all on the same page. So what I want you to do is we're going to sing a song to equalize the energy, and it's a song everybody knows, and usually everybody starts singing in the same key, okay? So at the count of 3, I want you to sing this song, right? I want you to sing your ABCs. 1, 2, 3. Thank you. Well, you sound better than my first graders. Yeah, so how many have names here? How many have spirit names? Raise your hand. Spirit names, it's a name that kind of pushes you. I have a lot of names because a lot of spirit from different energies, dimensions, they know me by a certain name, and it's all different. So the star people, they gave me the name Acheunka, which means we see you as a mist in the morning light. So in the elk people, they call me Standing Elk, and that's the old name. And the eagles call me the Golden Light. So usually the names like Golden Light, Eagle, and the eagle tells you who gave you the name, see. So I got a lot of names like that. Over in Chaco Canyon, those spirits over there call me Oyasi, which means all. You said you have this energy, it's all this energy. So your name should be all. So names are really important because they once you accept your spirit name, something happens, something starts clicking. And I'll tell you what happened. There's this guy went to Hollywood, and he looked for an agent to, represent him. So that he went in there, this office, and he asked this agent that he wanted him to represent him. So this agent said, "What's your name?" He said, "Penis Van Lesbian." He said, "I don't think we could use that name. You're going to have to change that name. In this business, names are important." He said, "No, I can't do that." I said, this name's been, for centuries, it's generations, it's been there, Von Lesbian, I can't do this. He said, "Well, okay, but I'm sorry, but I can't represent you unless you change your name." So he said, "No, I can't do it." So he went out, left. About a month later, this agent got a letter in the mail that said, "Dear Mr. Agent, I want to thank you for your suggestion to change my name." So I took it to heart, and I changed my name, and this changing of my name got me my own TV show. and gave me a lot of money. So here's a $10,000 check. Take care of this, and thank you for this suggestion. Signed, Dick Van Dyke. Yeah, so names are very, very important. Now, I was listening to everyone talk, visit and talk, and a lot of experiences in here, and you are too. I know that, and I feel that. And otherwise, you wouldn't be here, because under the law of attraction, you wouldn't be here, because we all have the same energy. We all have the same light. And I work with the 11th, 12th, and 13th dimensional areas, and so do you. You might think that you don't, but you do. Otherwise, you wouldn't be sitting in this room. So we're all this family of light, right? We are. Give yourself a pat on the back, or pat somebody else, And give yeah, that's good. We're family. Look at each other, because we're going to see each other again someplace down the road. And we're multidimensional. We've been in and out of cultures, out of races, to help different, families throughout the world, throughout time. And how the Spirit told us was that you're born in the race you're supposed to be helping. Okay? So you got a lot of work. We got a lot of work. We got issues with water. Water. We're drinking in fear. We're drinking in fear. We got issues with fire. Fire. We split the atom. There's war. When a bullet goes off, that's fire. We have issues with our air. And the issues are, as you see, they're all over in the skies, chemtrails and all that. We've got a lot of issues with our land, with pollutants, contaminations, pesticides, herbicides. There's all sorts of things that we have to look at, because we're under the ways of the protection, spiritual protection of humanity. We need to look at this, because one of the rules and laws that the people of love give us is being direct and to the point. So being direct and to the point is, don't be talking in circles, don't be beating around the bush. Say what needs to be said. They'll get over it. And there's 4 keys to do that. One is see purity in everyone. Everybody has purity, because you have the light. You have light and you got love within you. That's purity. You have unconditional love. See purity in everything. Number 2 is always walk in gentle strength. Be strong, but you don't need to be physically aggressive with it. And number 3, always speak from your heart. Clifford Mahudi, older brother, talked about the heart, and that's very important. Speak from the heart, because this is your center. You don't externalize, okay? Don't externalize, because this heart runs everything about you. This heart stops, you're going down. It takes care of you. See? So speak from the heart, especially in heart matters. And the 4th key is always know that you are a servant and a guardian to this Mother Earth. Earth, fire, wind, and water. You are a guardian. And a lot of times we think that we are useless. And we're not. Because each one of you, if you're working with the angelic realms, you have legions of helpers that you're not using. If you're working with Archangel Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, Chastiel, Chamiel, Saciel, Jophiel, Uriel, all of them, there's billions of them. Once you work with one of them, you got legions of helpers. Utilize them. They're like genies in a bottle. That's what they're there for. If you can't figure it out, ask them. That's what they're there for. You know that. Some of you guys, all of you have a minimum of 6 spirit guides around you all the time. And if you don't know their names, all you have to do is ask. Simple. Don't go to somebody else. Say, do you know my spirit guides? You know. Be your own psychic. I mean psychic, not sidekick. So, externalization, we're taught to always externalize, always looking outside of yourself. Heal me. I said, shit, heal yourself. You cannot heal anybody unless you heal yourself. See? You cannot understand anybody unless you understand yourself. You cannot find peace with anybody unless you find peace with yourself. You cannot love anybody if you don't know how to love yourself. So everything points right back to you. But we're always externalized. We're always maybe blaming. A lot of our people, the Native Americans, blame the spider. Oh, the spider tricked me. You know? Religion, blame the devil. The devil made me do it. You know? And now a lot of our star people say, oh, the aliens. Yeah, the anal probe. The astrologers blame it on Saturn or Mars. Yeah, retrograde. You got to take responsibility for your own actions. See? You don't have to believe in God. You don't have to believe in the devil. There's only one thing that you need to believe in, and that's in yourself. Right? And when you believe in yourself, everything opens up. You know, everything falls down. All the, what do you call it, the darkness, everything just falls away because all you have is you. You don't own anything. You don't own anything, right? Right. Don't own anybody else's crap. Don't belong to you. Anybody else's anger, let them get mad. Don't own it. Let them go through with it. So we're gifted with so many beautiful things that you have within you. You don't have to look on the outside of yourself for it. And a lot of times when we fall in love, we think we fall in love with somebody. No, we fall in love with the energy that we're attracted to, and that's your own. You know, I fell in love with you. Right? And then you get a divorce later. The lawyer loves you. So, yeah. So we have to, as teachers and healers and masters, we got to understand what the heck's going on. We got to understand the origin of different things. And one is the aspects of what we're in. We have 12 lords of light, 12 lords of darkness that we work with every day, and it's called a decision, you know. And we all have that. It's all there. It's called free will. And we got, from one end of the spectrum to the other, we have unconditional love, and we got fear, okay? So a lot of times when we externalize, what's that thing that they used to say? Antichrist, you know? Antichrist. We're looking to blame somebody out someplace, somewhere as Antichrist. So what's the opposite of Antichrist? Unconditional love. If you have fear, you're anti-love. See? We're all a collective of the Antichrist if you have fear. So get rid of it because it doesn't belong to this earth. It's not original to this earth. And where it came from was from a different star system that was destroying their own system, and they knew it. And they were looking over here as a possible venue to live this earth. At that time, earth was called Eden. This whole mother was Eden, the garden. And its energy was unconditional love. And there was only one language. So it took me a while to think about, feel this out. What the heck, one language. So it took a while. And so they were working on trying to get over here. And they said, okay, maybe we could incarnate over there. I said, no, can't do that. Under laws of attraction, we have this, and the earth, Mother Earth, this earth, Eden has this. We can't do it under the laws of attraction. So it took a while, we'll say, it took a while, and they finally guided 3 star groups to bring in, to come over here, because their systems were naturally going, and they didn't have anything to lose. They said, so they talked to them about coming over here, and the only way that they could make it over into this Eden, this planet, Mother Earth, was they had to pierce the veil of this protectional veil. So they brought in a meteor, okay? 3 groups of star groups guided this meteor. So when it pierced that veil, everybody heard a sonic boom, right? You heard sonic boom and what it does to your house, and everybody runs outside. What happened? Well, this boom was instantaneous worldwide, and it's so loud it split the brain, it popped the eardrums, and everybody just died. There was life went extinct for a while. So when over a few million years life came about, another one was brought in. If you look at the timelines of man, there's always a meteorite involved. So these meteorites were sent in. Now what this meteorite did, what it did is embedded in every plant, every animal, every bird, every man, woman, child, the DNA, within their DNA, the element of fear. See? So that was the energy of this planet that was needed for them to incarnate here, because Earth did not have fear. It's not original to this planet. That created the duality. We talk about duality. Yeah. So you look at the timelines, and you look at how the different types of men start evolving and coming into being into the time that we're in now. So we need to understand the origin of duality, because we're faced with that every day, that's being shot at us every day. Now, duality can be blocked by a simple little thing. It's called love. Love is the most powerful medicine on this planet, next to water. So water and love, they go hand in hand. So we need to take care of our existence and omit this element called fear. Because a lot of times when you're afraid of something, you find out there was nothing to be afraid of anyway, after everything was over. So just understand that the duality does exist, and there's so many people that don't understand, so they live in fear. They embrace fear, they embrace the drama, they love chaos, It's all there, it's all a part of the system. So the brain was split in half, the left and right brain. So you go back into time, and you go back to them timelines, and you look in Peru, you go to Egypt, look at the skulls, and again, Clifford touched on that little thing. He couldn't, what do they call it, any medical people here, that little crack right in the middle of you that separates your brain? Yeah. That was close enough. But you have two brains. Some of the star people have three brains, one right here and two on each side, or one on each side. So that created the left and right brain system that we have. Before it was one brain. And also, so where we got this information from, was in the petroglyphs. Okay, some of you have seen petroglyphs, right? You look at petroglyphs and you just stand there and stare at them. You know, you don't have a clue as what they mean. But there's a way to receive that information from the petroglyphs, but you have to go back and stand there and look at them and start with your time at the moment. Okay, say, okay, what was here 10,000 years ago? Number one, there was no cars, no trucks, no buses, there was no airplanes, there was hardly any noise, there was no fences, no electricity, no nothing. So what do you have? What do you have? Nature. Okay. So you have nature. You don't have any stress because you don't have to go to work. You don't have to pay any bills. You get to sleep and remember your dreams. Today, a lot of our people can't remember if they dreamed because they have to. They get cut short because the alarm clock goes off, and that creates that first word. Ah, shit. And they never get up. You just set it for another 15 minutes. I don't know what they use it for. So yeah, the elements that we have today, it didn't exist way back when. So they had time to use their natural elements of dimension. They worked from the first dimension all the way up to the 13th dimension, and we do too, but we put that aside because we're not living our life. We're living somebody else's life. And the grandmother said, "You are all prostitutes." How much you get an hour? How much you sell yourself for 8 hours a day? And that's true. What are you really supposed to be doing? You're living somebody else's life. You're not living your own. So when them grandmas speak, you listen because they have a different way of looking at things. They lived their life already, so they could see more than what we could really, realize at times. I'm sure we might get mad, but hey, truth is truth. So when you're walking and living your dream, things will start to happen. And somebody said, "You can't live without money." You can. The birds are out there. The animals are out there. All the plants are out there. They're living. Trees are out there. All the insects, fish, all of nature, they're out there living. And before white man came, Indians lived here. They didn't have any money. They still don't have any money. We're still here. So you live your dream. Walk your dream. I had an experience with the star people when they came. They just took me out of the room, took me out through the wall, took me down to a little gully like this, and they were showing me this bar with all these symbols on there, and they start talking to me right away, but they were talking to me in their language, not English. They weren't talking English because they don't have any voice boxes. Their language is telepathic, but they don't speak English. They speak their original language, right? Come here. Give me a language of the 66th dimension.
Amitaki Chakpe Toshawash TV. Sooner no wala kai to a shenge to samini. Ano wala ko to a stinky kawastan. More kako wasted and wala kind to a shanko or sakiti to a stine. More sakai taste to wala kind to a shanka. Unsume dish to wala kine. Ano costiti costuane. Amana lula kina wa shanko te seki to a stinka war sakai day no wala kind to a shan. Monsu kiti to do wala kaine. Takuya yo.
So we have many languages. We got like 220 dimensions to work with. But the society in mainstream America want you to believe that there's only 3. And I had a good visit with, I don't know, anybody know Richard Hoagland? Okay, we had a good conversation. And the way I talked, the way he talked, were totally different. And he couldn't understand. And I told him, I said, the reason you can't understand me because you only have 3 dimensions and I work at 13 at this moment. You know, all you have to do is change the definition of your dimension, then you'll be all right. But right now the definition is only 3. That's it. So we believe that. We believe that. So believe. What's in believe? A lie. It's a lie. So they know that. The system knows that. So they bombard you with things up here. They play with your head. They play with your head. They put this idea, this here, that, because they know that this changes all the time. This changes. They can make you believe this and they disregard that belief, put something else in. But there's one thing that they can't do is they can't change this. Right here. You can't change your heart. You can't change the way you feel. But they could play with this. This here has no idea what's going on. Especially on Saturday nights. But this can't be fooled. So this needs to be your grandmother, your grandpa, your God, your goddess. This is everything. This is your leader. This is your chief. This is your everything. So when you ask your heart something, the answers are like that. Just fast. And sometimes you want to second guess. Don't do that. Don't do that. Because when you second guess, you end up saying, I was thinking about that. I should have done that. That was my first thought. It works. I was over in the Mulholland Drive over in California. sat down. I was going to give a talk there. Some women came up. They brought something in red and some tobacco. They said, we brought you a gift. And here's a tobacco, and they introduced, so we visited a little bit. And they said, go ahead, open up your present. So in my mind, present means Christmas or birthday. So I said, no, I'll wait till Christmas. They said, no, you open it up right now. No, it's my present. You gave it to me. No, then this lady, she said, I bet her $1 million that you can't guess what's in there. So I said, okay. What's a whale eardrum? And they said, oh my God, how'd you know that? I said, well, that's what first thing that came in, you know. So we have all those gifts, you know that. You've experienced them. Every bit of it. So we're working with these laws that go and work with languages, like what you heard, languages. We got dimensional languages. English is artificial. It comes from many other root words from other cultures. Okay? And a lot of people don't realize that these root words are deadly. And that's why things are not happening for you, because of the root words in you got negative words like, I hope you get to back home safe. Well, you either get back home or you don't, you know? That doesn't mean anything. So there's a lot of words. Like some guy come up to me and said, it took me 3 years. 3 years now, the research, and I was looking for the root word of Christ. Okay, what'd you find? He said, yeah, I looked, I searched, and it's Chrisari. Really? I never heard that before. So what did you find out? He said, it means the movement of the buttocks during intercourse. I said, hey, I'm a good Christian. So root words are a lot of you probably know all this stuff, you know, and some of you don't. So languages, everything speaks, but you can listen. I was over in Florida at a Theosophical Society thing, and I was telling them, I said, hey, you know, animals talk. And they were like, they're rolling their eyes at me. I said, animals do, they talk. So do you have a dog? Yeah. So what does it mean when your dog wags its tail? What does it mean? Okay, what does it mean when the tail goes underneath between its legs? What happens if all the hair stands up on it? Huh? It's a warning. What if it shows its teeth? What if all the ears go back? What if it grabs your legs and go like this? He's in love. He loves you. They got love too. Yeah, they all speak. Whales talk. Dolphins speak. So everybody say, That's the dolphin talk, saying, get the heck away from me. So, yeah, cats, all the animals, and we even met a raven named Fred. Right? Right? Fred. So every time we see a raven, there's Fred. So, yeah, our animals, their languages, they're telepathic. And we had a good friend that kind of crossed over this year. His name was Spaz, you know. And that was Jen's friend. But he come in, and he was fighting with these clowns. These clowns were bringing him into a ceremony, and he was after those rabbits that were kind of giving him a hard time. But he said, what did he say? What the frick? He said. But that's what her son says. He said, I understand your language. He said, I understand all your language you humans speak, but he said, our voice boxes don't do that. We just say meow. Stuff like that, you know. And he said, tell my mother, because she raised him, you know, but that cat seen her as her mother. You know, that I love you, that it wasn't not to be feeling bad, because I put that thought in your head, you know, that I wanted to go home. He was what, 17 years old? 20 years old. He wanted to go home, so he was having a hard time. So yes, they do speak there. And he told us a little bit about way back when, in the time of Leo, you know, and the battles that they had with the cats, the energy and the story and stuff. And this is amazing what the animals are teaching us. We have still animals, still spirits that come in that are from the prehistoric time. We got these big elk that come in. We got these big buffalo that come in and still talk. They're still here. The spirits are still here. Just like your ancestors, our ancestors are still here, you know. How old is God? How old is God? God's still here. So if God's still here, everything else that went before us, still here. Because they're all aspects of God. So languages are important. So the owls, they come in with this law called universal law of light, sound, vibration, and they gave us a little clue as to saying, keep one eye in mystery and the other eye in the light. But mystery and light are one and the same. And how they put it together was, do you think your clowns are so funny? Do you think your saints are so holy? They're one and the same. So we had to look at that and feel that. And it had to do with languages. I've experienced a clown, and one of the clowns that I know is my nephew. And the clowns, as I said, they're totally backwards. They're opposite. So a lot of times we have people in our communities that are clowns. They talk backwards. See? And I learned that from my nephew. And one night one morning he said, I didn't have a dream last night. I didn't dream that there wasn't a little man pushing a chair up to the window. So he didn't get on that chair to look out the window. And he wasn't looking out the window. So I didn't go over there to see what he wasn't looking at. And there wasn't some deer that wasn't running, and them deer were crying. They weren't crying. So I didn't go over there and ask those deer why these deer weren't crying, why they were laughing. So the deer were laughing because these old women weren't taking away their land. So at that time they're cutting down the trees, you know, cutting down their homes, lumber. So he said, and this little man didn't look towards the south to the river, so I didn't go down there to see what he wasn't looking at. And he said, I didn't see a little girl in the water. So that water said, when you want to quench your thirst, I'll quench your thirst. When you want to play, I'll play with you. When you want to be cleansed, I'll cleanse you. He said, but I get hungry too. And when you talk to me as you would talk to your best friend. So he wasn't telling me, he was telling me what the water wasn't saying. But that next day he left. But he said, don't tell everybody to not watch their children this year, because that water is not going to take somebody. So that year we lost a little boy, drowned. So that clown was talking, but he was talking backwards. So the languages, we have body languages that we look at. You got your face, and your face tells you all kinds of stories. When you're looking at somebody, you know how to contort their face, you know. Make them smile, frown, make them angry, and make them look funny if you want to. Their body language is amazing, you know. Your body language, you don't know how much you realize what you put out in body language. You could heal with your body. A lot of us don't realize that you are a healer. You don't think you are, but you are. Because you could heal with your toes, right? Right? When's the last time you played footsie? When's the last time? You don't do that anymore? Do it. Start doing it again. But cut your toenails first. That hurts. You could heal with your heels, right? You could heal with your knees. And you women, you could heal with your hips. You can make somebody forget they're crippled. You could heal with your elbows. See? You could heal with your hands. You could heal with your fingers. You could heal with your eyes. You could heal with sound. You could heal with the prayer. So you have all these gifts that you're a healer. So remember that. Your body carries so much healing energy. Use it. Put it out there. Release it. Otherwise, you'll implode. You know, you'll implode. That's why we have to release your energy, your healing energies. Make it a point and a policy in your life to make somebody smile. Okay? Make somebody smile. Because smiling, you know, gives you more life, extends your lifeline. Right? Laughter is the best medicine. Use it. Well, you're supposed to be my timer. Huh? Okay. The boss says, questions? Any questions? Just anything. Just ask me anything and start it off. Oh, okay.
What came first, the chicken?
It was a rooster. Next. I don't either. I got like that, and but mine was caused from an accident. I hit the windshield. Somebody come out in front of me and I hit him. All I remember is like slow motion. I said, "Oh shit, broken ribs." But I ended up sitting on the passenger side and I was looking. I seen the windshield cracked, but I was going like this. Wiggle my toes. Okay, everything's intact. Everything's connected. So I got up. But I got to that point where I couldn't remember what somebody was telling me. And I couldn't remember what I was saying. And what we have, it's really fast. It's better than going to the doctor. I had enough in me to say, I need to go see a medicine man. You know. So I went to a sweat lodge. They took me in there. And as soon as they close the door, they start singing, something come in and went, hit me right in that forehead, and everything came back. So when the medical field, the doctors and all this fail at getting you well and helping you, that's when you go to the spirit world and ask them, you know? And that's what we do at home. We do that at home. And our ceremonies are given to us through a woman from the Pleiades, from the star systems. And our ceremonies, the only ones that I know that I've experienced, where the spirit materializes when they come into the room. Okay? So whenever I need extra help, I'll go back home for ceremony, or we'll do it wherever we're at. We'll do ceremony. We did ceremony today. While you were out eating and having a good time, there's a grandma come in, wanted prayers. So we sat her down. That chair is still sitting there. And they come in, we did prayers for her, and she was healing, she was crying. So yeah, ceremonially, probably on a medical side, is anybody that would have some kind of answer? Because sometimes when we say things to people, they don't understand it because they didn't walk or live a life that we walked with. So when we give them an answer, they can't connect with it because they didn't experience what our way of life. I've experienced that even in our own people. So yeah, you're forgetting when people talk to you, and sometimes you don't remember what you say, but you know you said something.
It's when I was talking in the middle of the sentence, I'll be so blank, and not knowing what I was talking about, what we were talking about.
Okay. One of the things that my sister told me was that she said, I want you to listen to what I say when the Spirit comes and when I have to say to you, because after I say it, it's gone. It's gone. It doesn't belong to me. It belongs to whoever I'm speaking to. Don't worry about it. If it's something beautiful, it's good, something that you share with somebody, that's theirs. Because we all carry those codes and time codes inside of us. All of a sudden something comes out, boom, 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 boom. You don't know where it comes from. You're releasing the codes from the timelines that's necessary for whoever it is that's in front of you.
You might try grounding yourself more with your frequencies.
We could take care of that on a spiritual level, That's easy. It's faster. Spirit's faster and faster than a doctor. Say that again. You talk like you're from Las Vegas. Well, sun dancing is like over 15,000 years old. It's a gift. It's a ceremonial gift, and it has a lot to do with time, creating your history, you could say. It's a time machine, a spiritual time machine, and there's a code that goes with it. What's the code? Yeah, there you go. So that code there's a lot of codes, there's a lot of times, there's a lot of time involved. So it's a time thing with creating your future and how you want life to be for yourself. And they do it by working with the sun, because the sun has everything there. Sun gives us life, and the sun is a very high dimensional messenger. So and within 4 days, you're raising your vibration, boom, 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 where you're able to connect, see? And the sun dancers, they could stand there and dance to the sun and look at the sun, and it's potent, the things that you get from the sun. They always say, don't stare at the sun or you're going to go blind, There's nothing in this world, no record of anybody ever going blind staring at the sun. In fact, it's the most beautiful thing to do for your body, because when you stare at the sun, you're receiving good health. It's energy it's a cure-all for everything that you need. It's a messenger. So you're looking at time, and you're talking to the sun. How far is the sun? 90. Okay. How fast does light travel? 87,000 miles a second, something like that. So how long does it take for light to 8 minutes or so? So what's faster, light or thought? How do we know that? So on the basic foundation of light takes you 8 minutes. So when you're sending a message to the sun, you got to wait for that message to get over there and wait another 8 minutes for a message to return based around those scientific statements of time. So, but when you receive the message, it's a very high vibration. It's like what you're saying is that it hits you, you got it, then the minute you drop your frequency, it's gone. You know? So you got to stay in a certain level of light and vibration, because it's a very high. It's just so beautiful when the sun talks. See, so the sun is our messenger. The sun is it's so finite with sound. It has trillions and trillions of sound frequencies, and each one of those frequencies are connected to each one of you, because we're at different megahertz signals in this room. They're all different because it tells by our voice. See, our voice tells us. We all have a unique sound, and we hear it. You hear a song on the radio. Oh, that's so and so. You know. You hear what's his name? What about Barry White's voice? Unique, right? Whenever I say Barry White, all the women go, oh. How about if I say Donald Trump? Oh my God. Oh, you got a question? Oh, okay. We use cedar. You just burn a little bit of cedar if you want to remember your dreams for just a little bit. The cedar, it creates something in you. As soon as we burn a cedar, everybody goes quiet. It's a reverence that has to do with that plant, because plants are, everything green is unconditional love. You know, sage, cedar, sweetgrass, even tobacco, they carry the highest vibration on earth. They carry the highest vibration on earth. I know tobacco today is, they have a lot of junk in there, you know. But there's a way to change that. So dreaming, when you remember dreams, make sure that you have to tell yourself and tell your spirit guides, because they're the ones that are giving you those messages. Tell them you need help remembering. But since you're asking, we use cedar. We burn a little bit of cedar, and that opens you up to that reverence, because a lot of times we're not taught to be reverent to our spirit guides, or grandpas, or grandmas, or even God, you know. And we use God as a, why me, God? You know, forgot about the reverence in yourself. So dream, yeah, dream time. One more?
So we all know that there are major changes going on with the sun, and I can see them. I think anyone with sun gazing now will know that things are changing. But I also feel like there's major changes going on in Sirius, and the way I see Sirius, it's literally
Yeah, Sirius, like you said, is the home of the dolphins and the whales and dogs and wolves, you know, because whales and wolves are the same. You know, whales kind of evolutionary. Wolves did an evolutionary process that turned into whales. It took like 50 million years, you know, if you're looking at the old skeletons of Pakicetus and Blutocetus and all that. The shift that took place, I was in D.C., and I worked with the Secret Service at that time, and I did sweat lodge for them and all that. And I went into this house where I stayed in this room, and I looked, and there was 5 star people standing there, and they were not all the same size. They were like different sizes like that. But sometimes it kind of bothered me because it's like seeing a ghost or experiencing a ghost. All my hair stood up and all this, and I was like, wait, guys, wait, you know, let me readjust myself. So I got situated. I said, okay, what is it? What'd you come? What's your message, or what is it? They said, well, we come to tell you that there's a shift taking place. And the shift's not just going to be here on Earth. It's going to be here throughout this universe and many other star systems that are going to experience this as well. At this time, there was like 624 star systems that are going to be a part of this shift. And so far, there's 326 star systems that were successful during the shift. And the shift was just a vibrational shift. You know, in other words, we're doing some beautiful work. You know, so give yourself a hand, because that's what that's about. They put so many, yeah, it is. You did a lot of work. You don't realize that you have. And so when they're shooting stuff at us, they're putting the fear factor in there, you know. They're putting the fear factor all the time. Oh, Earth's going to shift this way and that way, and we're all going to go die. It's all about that. But the shift is inside. It's your job to shift. You know, you do your inner shifting. That's external stuff. So make it good, you know, and I know you will anyway, but that's where it's at. That's where it's at, is all right here. So they said at that time, they said, okay, because of the shift, we have to leave. They worked with the military, they worked with the government, and they were part of that Zeta Reticuli system. They said because of that, affects everybody, that we have to shift too. So most of them, they left. And they said, but before we leave, we have to leave a record here. We have to tell. So they were going to people that understand dreams. Everybody, they're telling them that here, this is what we did. We worked for the government. We worked this, but we got to go. And we did all this damage. We did this. The government didn't like it at that time. So they put propaganda out on the star people. There was so much of it with sightings and what's the other one? Strange Universe, all these programs that were saying, you know, beware of these star people, beware of these aliens. They're around, they're going to abduct you and, you know, operate on you. But there's no record of a star person ever killing anybody, you know, 0. So that's just a propaganda. So when they told me that, I understood that. They said, but we have to leave because of the shift. It was a vibrational shift, you know, this beautiful shift that we created. So all we needed was like 10% of the world's population in order for us to move things into another beautiful level. So I guess that's the time that they gave me. Yeah, so I want to thank you for this little tiny moment.
One more time for Chief Golden Light Eagle. That's right. That's right.